that time of year again, the time of year that I get super excited to start baking. It's summer, which means fruit desserts are on the agenda. And today, it's a very simple, straightforward, but fantastic strawberry cobbler. Cut up 2 pounds of strawberries. You're gonna need a total of 6 cups. If you quarter them, go strawberry picking, and then come home and make this recipe. I love strawberry picking. Your fruit in a big bowl. You're gonna mix everything together right here in this bowl for the filling. Add a cup of sugar, 1/3 of a cup of cornstarch. It seems like a lot. Strawberries are very watery, so you need a lot of thickener, so don't skimp on that. Then a teaspoon of salt, coarse salt. Don't use fine salt. Well, if you do, just use a 1/2 teaspoon. And then 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. The acidity in the lemon juice is really nice to offset the sweetness in the strawberries. And strawberries in season can be very, very sweet. It's usually about a 1/2 lemon, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use a whole 1/2 lemon. Get your oven preheating to 375 degrees because this is not going to take very long to put together, and you want to make sure your oven is ready for you when you're ready for it. Stir together until nicely combined. Transfer this to a 2.5 quart baking dish. You're going to want to make sure that it's at least 2.5 quarts so that the juices don't overflow. Set that aside for a second. Then you can make your biscuit mixture. Here I have 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, add a 1/4 cup of sugar, 3/4 of a teaspoon of coarse salt, and 1 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder. Whisk everything really well to combine, and then you can add your cold butter. It's 6 tablespoons of cold butter. I just like to work this in with my fingers. I think it's faster. I'm leaving some bits of butter in here for flakiness and tenderness. It's the texture of coarse crumbs, but there still should be some pieces that are like the size of small peas. To that, add 1 cup of heavy cream. These are really tender and delicious biscuits, and it comes from the cream. It's not like you're eating it for dinner, it's a special treat. This is one of my favorite biscuits to put on top of any kind of cobbler. I put it on peaches and blueberries, I put it on apricots, but the first one I get to make every spring is strawberry. All right, then what you want to do is sort of dollop this on top of your strawberry mixture. I like to use 2 tablespoons to do it. You want to mix your dough just until it holds together. You don't want to overmix it. Scoop it onto your fruit. It can be slightly uneven. Sometimes they sort of run together in the oven anyway, so don't worry too much about if they're all exactly the same size. It kind of doesn't matter. The dough is kind of sticky, so it's nice to use the tablespoons to get the dough on top, and then you need to make about 9 total. Also, you might find that it's like a sticky-ish dough, but it might not be completely holding together, and don't worry about that either, because as it bakes, they puff up and they hold together. So everything comes together in the end. Then what you want to do, just for color, you don't actually have to do this, is brush the tops lightly with just a little bit more heavy cream, and then sprinkle with some sugar. Also, this is optional, you don't need to do it, but it adds a nice crunch and helps with the golden color on the top. Then you want to bake it 375 degrees for 1 hour and 10 minutes. It should be bubbling in the center and the biscuit should be golden. And if you want to catch the drips that might go over the top, just in case, put a baking pan on the rack underneath the rack that you bake this on. 1 hour and 10 minutes. Wow, look at that. Bubbling and golden delightfulness. You should give it at least 1 hour to cool down. To prove to you guys that I've been patient and I waited long enough for this to cool down enough to eat, I am carrying it without pot holders. See? It didn't just come right out of the oven. You gotta give it time to cool down just a little bit so the juices have time to thicken. Still a little juicy. I'm doing this for you guys. I want you to see the magnificence that this strawberry cobbler is. Maybe you want to serve it with a little bit of ice cream. You could also pour a little bit of heavy cream right over the top. That's really good. I always love a scoop of ice cream. Strawberry cobbler a la mode. What do you think? I'm gonna tell you what you think right now. Oh my God. You have to make this. It is fantastic.